Okay, so I have a question for you. How bad do you want to get out of debt? Are you committed or just curious? Okay, now I have a second question for you. What would you do with your time if you can get up in the morning and do whatever you please?
So I got to a place where I don't want to look like I have it. I don't care if you think I do or don't have it. I know that I don't get up every day to go to a job that I don't like. So what's your flex? I don't get up to go to work. What do you do?
Today's guest has a net worth of 6 figures. I don't think you heard what I just said. She has never actually made 6 figures, but she's worth 6 figures.
You don't have to make a lot of money to have a lot of money.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
Like, I've never made more than $45,000 a year. I think in the military, I didn't make more than 32 to 35 at most. And I did 5 years, right? So for me, it's like, I never made a lot of money. I've never made 6 figures, but here I am at 29, bought my house, and now I'm 32, right? Just turned 32. And I have a 6-figure net worth, and I did that in 2 years for my house alone.
That's pretty impressive if I do say so myself. Now, before we hop into today's show, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's jump into today's video.
Yo, let's talk about it. Shay, you had about $58,000 worth of debt.
That's
right?
correct.
And you paid it all off.
Oh,
right?
yes.
I want to talk about this. What was it? What was $58,000 in debt?
Between my private student loans that I had and my car note.
Private student loans?
Yes, I went to a private school, so I didn't get too much in government aid. I actually had to take private student loans out.
Why did you choose a private school over a public school?
I didn't know any better. So
Real?
At the time, my mom, she's from another country, so she went to school overseas and she only did her associates. Okay. My dad never went to school at all, so this was one of those. I didn't know the difference between a public and a private school. That probably sounds crazy.
For real?
I did not know the difference. I knew it was higher in price, but I didn't understand like the school size, the number of people, the things they offer, different degrees. I didn't know public, private. This is way more because of this.
What about your family? Did your parents know?
Nobody knew. My older brother went to Naval Academy, so his schooling looked a lot different versus a public or private school. I just wanted to move to Florida. Yeah. I knew I wanted to go to a smaller school because I don't like really big classroom settings.
Okay.
And I decided I liked that school because it had a good nursing program.
What was your degree in?
Marketing communications.
So you went to a private school?
For a basic degree. Look, we can go ahead and say it now because it already happened.
I was going there. I was like, you went and paid all that money.
I didn't know. I really didn't know. And I know it sounds crazy, but I really didn't know the difference. I thought, oh, school's expensive, right?
So I know a lot of people are probably watching this and listening to this saying, well, $45,000 is not a lot of money in debt for, you know what I'm saying, for a private school, but you had scholarships, you had your father's GI Bill.
I did. So
how much was the whole school for the whole year? At
that time, because it's went up since then, it's over 6 figures. It was at least like 120, 125 when I was going there. So
$125 a year to get a basic degree?
I went to a good school within the college I went to within the school is good, but I know it's a lot of money. But how am I supposed to know the difference when all your parents tell you, go to school, get a good job, go to school? So it's either the military, because that's what my dad did, or it goes to college. I was not going to the military. That was out of the question. So I went to college. That's all I knew. And I didn't know the ramifications of all this debt and how it affects your finances until I got older. I was like, wait a minute.
So you graduated with about $45,000 of student loan debt, which is honestly not bad.
Compared to other people.
Compared to other people, right? You know what I'm saying? Especially going into a private school, leaving with $45,000. That means that you was definitely a smart woman, educated, and you had a lot of scholarships and grants and assistance. So I'm not like, ugh, but I am like, man, how much could you have graduated with no debt at all if you would have went to a community college or a public school in state to get that same degree?
I've thought $0. Because I could have went to school in Texas where my parents lived, but I was trying to get away from Texas. I wanted to go to Florida. I'm going to Florida. I'm going to turn up, have a good time. You know, in the snappy air and everything was so great in Atlanta. I said, yeah, I'm just trying to go there because the man, it seems like a good time, good education, small schools. I feel like I was winning. Like I said, I didn't know.
Wow.
No one in my family close to me, because I moved all the time, no one ever said, hey, you probably should look at a private school or a public school because you'd be able to do this.
So your school teachers, your counselors, no one said, you don't need to do that.
I tried to graduate high school early because I came from overseas. my freshman year, I moved from Japan. So I was way ahead of everyone else by like 2 years in my classes. I literally, my senior year, I took 2 classes. The rest were study hall and leaving school early and coming to school late.
Are you serious?
Yep. And they wouldn't let me graduate early because they're like, oh, well, then you can't walk with your class in June. I'm like, so because I did everything I was supposed to do and you guys don't have any classes for me, I literally have to sit here and take study hall all day, all year, and come to school late and leave early, do other things. That was senior year for me. So yeah, I just didn't know. My counselors didn't say, hey, you should probably start college classes. None of them ever said that. They're like, oh, you'll be fine. Just hang out, go down to the school elementary, be a TA for a teacher's assistant for the elementary kids and stuff like that, and you'll be fine. I didn't know. Okay. There was just no guidance.
All right. So you graduated high school.
Yes.
Went to a private school in Florida. Racked up about $45,000 in student loan debt after getting your private degree in a basic.
I could have went anywhere. Yep.
Basic degree.
I know that now.
Spent about $300,000 to get a degree for a basic degree. Lord Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. We can live on that all day long.
I know.
So you paid off $45,000 in. You have $45,000 actually in student loan debt, but you still have like another $16,000. What's that? I'm curious. Credit card stuff?
Oh no, I don't do credit card debt. It was for my car. So I got a car for about roughly like $18,000, a little bit less than.
Okay.
When I was in the military, so I made sure that it was affordable and under $300,000 a month because I wasn't making a lot.
You wasn't. And you was in the military.
I was in the military. So
what branch?
In the Air Force.
Oh, you smart.
You know, I'm a little something. I was smart enough to get a job that was inside. We all getting the same pay. I'm trying to be at the desk going like this. Okay, we working for the same little McDonald's money in here.
Oh,
literally
man.
Going in. When I first went in, I was making what, 12 something a month.
$1,200 a month.
$1,200 a month. I know. We can all look it up. It's online, right? This is basic pay when you're first going in. $1,200
a month working for the Air Force.
When you first go in, you all make basic pay, so it's very minimum.
With a degree?
With that part. So I tried to go in as an officer, but they tried to have me do a little too much, and they was like, oh, we're going to put you in a certain spot for this job, and I said no, because you can have me doing anything, and now I'm stuck here for 4 years in a job I don't like. Yep, so I decided to go enlisted because I was able to get my TA benefits. When you're an officer, you don't get to do that. They don't give you that extra money because you already make enough, quote unquote, right? Because you already have a degree.
Okay.
I could have went to the Army, but I wasn't trying to do that either. You know, the way no offense to the Army and any other branch, but that's working too hard and not smarter. We're all getting the same pay.
All of it. My dad did 30-something years in the Army.
Yeah, see, he would know.
Yeah.
He probably has some stories of
how he got a lot of
too hard.
Yeah. My dad tried to get me to go into the Army. I said, Dad, you smoking weed.
That ain't for me. I thought the same thing. You know, I'm 18, rolling out. Military, college. I'll take college over the military any day because I've seen you do this. I don't want to do that. I don't see that for myself. But it wasn't until life got real of graduating and, oh, what am I going to do? I've been living out of state. You know, I don't have internships where that's what jobs want you to have. I didn't know what to do, so I did the best thing I knew was going to the military. It's a set job. It got good set benefits, and I know how much I'm making, so I have time to figure it out.
Isn't that so funny, though? You pay all that money for a degree, and you still don't know what you're going to do next with the degree.
Because you need all this experience. Who's getting experience when I'm trying to go to school to understand the job? Like, I had a car when I was in school my second 2 years. My dad leased out a car. So this is where I really started to learn finances. It all started with my dad. Okay. So the first thing he did when I went to college was put me on his credit card as an authorized user. Right. That was fantastic. Never used it because I don't like to use other people's money. I don't like that.
Okay.
He used to pay me $50 out of his check for the first 2 years because he was like, everything's paid for. Your food, you got clothes, you're going to school for education, you don't need anything extra. So boom, $50 every 2 weeks, that was my paycheck. Then he leased me out a car my junior and senior year for 3 years, so I had a year after I graduated as well, and gave me $100. This is your paycheck, budget it out. So that's where I started getting better with money. I don't like owing people money, and I'm not trying to run up my $50, $100 I have, because I got to make it to the club.
Yeah.
I got to have fun, I got to buy these drinks and whatever else. So that's when I learned how to start budgeting.
Okay.
Right, so it started there, and then once I graduated, I was like, wait a minute, I need my own credit card. How I don't have a credit card? So that's when I got my first credit card.
Gotcha.
And then from there, a year later is when I bought my first car, because my car was leased by my dad, right? So he gave me a year of a grace period to figure it out.
Gotcha.
So me going to the military was a way of, I don't know what to do, but I know I'm not moving back home.
Right.
Because that's moving backwards in life.
Right.
So I guess my pride kind of took over, went to the military, did what I knew best, and it was easy for me. I lived that life as a child. I watched my dad do it. He explained pretty much everything I kind of didn't know. from his standpoint. But other than that, it was easy. I went back to school, got another degree. Something I wanted to do, had more guidance, and figured out, okay, I like HR. That's what I want to do. I like working with people. I like helping people. So that's when I moved into that course of action.
I love it. So let's talk about it. Because a lot of people right now come to me to really learn how to get out of debt, right? And sometimes we have the crazy stories of how they paid off $100,000, $200,000 worth of debt. You at right around the age of 25, 24 years old, had about $50-something thousand, nearly $60,000 in debt. What were some of the financial principles you put into place while you were, in the Army, the Air Force, that you put into place to help you get out of debt?
Man, I didn't buy anything I really didn't need. I mean, when I was younger, I used to go out and buy clothes and shoes because during the week, I mean, I'm wearing a uniform. So it's like, well, I can go shop. I can spend a few dollars. No big deal. It's not a regular thing. But then I started thinking, oh, man, I got to start this master's. But I also had to pay a couple $100 out of pocket to do that.
Wow.
Because TA only caps up to a certain point every year.
Okay.
So, yes, my degree was pretty much free, but I still had to pay like $200, $300, sometimes $500 out of pocket every 6 weeks for the class.
And you cash flowed that?
Oh, yeah, I paid for that. I said, you know what? This degree is going to be important. I know whatever I'm doing right now with this, when I finally walk back out to the workforce, I'm going to have a job. I got 3 degrees. Oh, and I got a CCAF, so it's an associate's through my job through the Air Force. So that's something they do, too. They give out.
Associates.
Because you go to school, basically, to get your job. So you actually get accredited for that. So I have 3 degrees. So I was like, by the time I've done this 4 years, there's no way I can't get a job in the field that I want to get it in and be successful.
Wow. So you didn't purchase things that you needed.
Didn't purchase anything extra. I'm always couponing.
There you go. Didn't purchase things you did not need.
You just don't need. Yeah, so I'll ask myself, is this a want or is this a need?
Okay.
Like, where am I wearing this outfit? Where am I wearing these shoes? Because if not, there's no point in doing that. If I'm traveling, if it's cheaper to drive, then I'm going to drive. If it's cheaper to fly, I'm going to fly. So just price pointing everything. Because literally, I'm making McDonald's money now. I moved up a little bit. I got a little couple more hundred a month. But I'm literally still only making 13, 14. What am I going to do with this? Like, literally, what am I going to do with this on top of my student loan payment, my car payment, my everyday expenses, and I'm in school for 2 years?
So I want to talk there because how did you live off of $1,300 a month?
Barely.
I mean, so what, the military giving you were they giving you an allowance for your rent, or were you staying on the barracks? Like, how does that work?
So that's what it is. Your first 2 to 3 years, if you're single, you stay in the barracks, right? So that's completely free. Your food is completely free. They give you a stipend for it, but it already comes out of your check. Right, so it's like, here's your stipend, but we got to take it. So that's how you're able to go in there, eat for free.
Okay.
So your BAH is your food stipend. That's about, at the time, $200-$300. And then your housing stipend just varies on your rank.
Okay.
Right, so it wasn't too much. It wasn't like I was making $1 million.
So let's talk about that, though, because it sounds like the average person in America. Because let's say if you were making $3,500 a month, and you had a $1,500 rent or mortgage, whatever that is. So now you're down to $2,000, and then let's say if you're taking out, in your case, you had a car note, food, utilities, all that type of stuff. You're down to about $1,200. So it sounds like what the military was doing for you was, hey, we're gonna cover all of your living, and then you get a check to spend for $100.
Yeah, for whatever you need to spend it on.
And that was for you. You went out and got a car note for $300, so you're down to $900 a month. Good God! And then I'm pretty sure you still ate, because I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, you just don't eat.
Yeah,
because it's dining facility hours, so it's only open. I mean, it's open 24/7, but it's like you're eating the same food. The food's not like this great luxury. No,
wait, they cook the same food?
You eat the same food weekly. You know how many different ways they can make chicken? Listen, I was deployed at the time. I was like, y'all, can I make something different? There's literally a rotation. It's a 12 to 14 day rotation. When I was deployed, they put it up to 21 days. I said, this is crazy, but you're literally eating the same food. They just make the same vegetables in a different way. They bake that chicken, fry that chicken, whatever, they grill the chicken. They're going to do whatever, they chop it up. It's different,
so
but it's the same.
Question. Like, what was the motivation? So like you're in the military, you're working, you're not making a lot of money, right? What was the motivation to take your finances seriously and to get out of debt?
Like I said, I don't like being in debt. I don't like owing people money. So my thing was, the quicker I get out of it, the longer I don't have to look at it. I didn't know in the long term that this actually affects my credit. I didn't realize that me having these opens was a great idea, right? Because the more accounts you have open, the more it affects your credit, the more on-time payments, longer in length, the higher your score is going to be, the stronger your profile. I didn't know any of this. I'm just paying it off because all I know is I don't like to be in debt. I didn't know that by me doing this consistently and doing it on time and sometimes even more was going to get me to the place I am now. I kind of stumble upon this when people start asking me, dang, Shay, how'd you do this? Did you just get fired? How you buy a house? How did you do this? How come you're always traveling somewhere? But you ain't got no job. Like when I graduated college, I did not have a job from May until October. I was working at a fast food at BJ's restaurant for like a couple months. I mean, I'm barely working, but other than that, I never worked through college, but I always found my way somewhere with some kind of money.
Are you serious?
Yeah, all the time. So it's
paid off this debt.
And paid off.
Figured it out. Well, I was on your Instagram and I see that you're very, very big on numbers. And like when I say like numbers, you're like basic numbers. Like you're not talking about like mathematics and multiplication. You're like the basic numbers. Why are you so, really focused on helping people understand the basic numbers when it comes to finances?
Because that's what really matters, right? Anyone can make $1 million. They can make $1 million. That doesn't mean they're netting $1 million, right? The more money you make, usually the higher your expenses are. So it's not about how much you make. It's how you're expending it, right? How are you saving yourself money? How are you allocating it to move it around so it makes sense for you? Because everyone's vision and goal looks completely different. Everyone needs to spend different money or they need to make money a different way. You don't have to make a lot of money to have a lot of money.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
Like I've never made more than $45,000 a year. I think in the military, I didn't make more than 32 to 35 at most. And I did 5 years, right? So for me, it's like, I never made a lot of money. I've never made six figures, but here I am at 29, bought my house, and now I'm 32, right? Just turned 32. And I have a six-figure net worth, and I did that in 2 years for my house alone.
So you have a six-figure net worth and you've never made six figures a year?
Never. Like, just to hear, I don't even know how much you have to make a month to make six figures. I never even calculated because to me, it's not about how much I make. It's people making six figures right now who are in debt. A bunch of debt. So for me, it's like, do I want to be the person with six figures, look good, be in a whole bunch of debt, or I'd rather be me and not in debt, have my six figures, and I basically do whatever I want every day. Like, I don't make a lot of money right now because that's not my primary focus. It's, let me see what I have right now and what I'm going to do next to get to where I want to go. Because I literally just got in the space of quitting my job and being like, you know what? I got the funds, but now it's not about having the funds. It's what's going to make the most sense. I don't want to work too hard. Right. I thought about real estate, housing, but then I think about all these tenants. That sounds like a headache. So for me, I'm very calculated with numbers. I'm thinking, what's the least amount of work that's going to give me the most amount of joy? But it's also very flexible because I didn't quit my job to work harder, right? You see a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm working so much harder. I can't believe I did this. I'm not trying to work that hard. I need to work at something that makes sense to my brain and makes number-wise make sense. Because this is why a lot of people who have money, who don't understand numbers, can get a financial advisor or someone to tell them about their money. But if they can't break it down like you're a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, real basic, you're never gonna get it, and that's how you get stolen from. So within my business, I actually help people first start off understanding their numbers, so helping people with their budgets, and then from there, I help people with their credit and how the numbers within their credit make sense to them. So depending on their goals and dreams, I basically just try to put it onto perspective and actually build spreadsheets out for people so they can actually physically see between what their goals are and what they actually want to do, this is how it's going to affect them number-wise in the future so they can make the best investment possible.
So what do you tell the people who say like, yo, you need to make more than six figures to live, to enjoy life, to, just have a blast?
No, I have a blast and I don't make six figures. I never have. But if you really, I think the biggest thing is what people need to do is write down, what do you absolutely need to live? What absolutely makes you happy to live, right? That's step one. What do you need to live? And then what are the things that make you happy? Because it's like going into Target, right? You go into Target and boom, what do they have? The little red section over here, the dots and everything. You want to start buying a bunch of stuff. But all those little $1, $2 things start to add up over time. It's like going to fast food place. That starts to add up when you don't actually need that. You go to the grocery store and buy all those ingredients and make that 10 times. So you're wasting simple money over things you feel like you need, or being on social media and seeing all these things that again, you feel like you need. You don't need all these things.
No, you talking my language, man. People are getting upset with me when I say, like, yo, if the average person is making $45,000 in America, and then people saying, I can't live off of $45,000. And I'm like, no, you can live. The problem is we have exposed ourselves to a certain kind of lifestyle, and now we automatically associate in our brains, I have to have that. Like, I have to have this size house. I have to have this car. I gotta have this. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, exactly. and when you're the very first person who ever come on my show and say, yo, I have a 6-figure net worth and I've never made over 6 figures. Never. And I know a lot of people who've made over 6 figures and don't have a 6-figure net worth.
And that's what I've been trying to figure out. If I made that much money, because I will one day, I just know I'm going to do better with my money because I understand the basics of money. Ooh. That's all it is. And, right, so I just quit being an elementary school teacher. I did it for 2 years. I taught 3rd and 4th grade math. Okay. If you don't understand 3rd and 4th grade math, because that's when they start doing multiplication, where division, fractions, percentages, all the same thing. So if you can't understand percentages and fractions and those basic adding, subtracting, then your budget probably isn't that good. And people hate when I say it, but you're telling me either A, you don't care about your finances, or B, you just don't understand them. So this is adding, subtracting. These are 2 basic things. Fractions, percentages, 2 basic things. The same thing, just look different. So that means you missed elementary school math. This is why you can't help your kids with their assignments, because I'm not even gonna lie, the methods of how we're teaching has changed. So of course you won't get that. But basic stuff at elementary, there's no reason why you can't help your child. Ooh. Because that means your budget probably isn't good, because you can't add or subtract how much you make versus how much you spend in. Wow. That's why people should get off social media.
Yo, real quick, you guys, are you looking to change your career here in the year 2023? If so, look no further than Bethel School of Technology, the only Christian online tech boot camp in the world. According to a recent report, Black people make up just about 4% of the U.S. technology workforce. But you see, at Bethel Tech, who I've partnered with for this year, they believe that all people, including us Black people, should have access to the lucrative and fulfilling opportunities in the tech industry. Now, with their 9-month program, you'll gain the essential skills you need to start a successful career in technology. And let's not forget the earning potential. You see, according to Indeed, the average salary of a software developer in the US is around $103,000. Say what? You know, you can choose from programs like the cybersecurity and UI UX design and launch your tech career or even a tech business ignited with passion and purpose. So listen, we're going to skip the debt and we're going to invest into yourself for just 9 months that can change the next 9 years of your life. All you got to do is join Bethel Tech today to achieve your career aspirations. Visit AnthonyONeal.com/Bethel or click the link in today's show notes today so you can register and start a new journey of your life. Now, you know what? Let's get back to the show because this is a good one today. Let's keep it a buck. You're on social media, and it's more so about your brand and helping people budget.
That's it. Because when you get on social media, just imagine the people you follow and seeing the lifestyles they live. Yeah. But just because you see that doesn't make it real. How many reality stars or just celebrities in general had COVID hit, and now they all here looking crazy? Yeah. You still in the club trying to do appearances, you on live trying to make money, but I thought you're rich. What rich person who's really rich exposes themselves that much? Let's just be real. How many wealthy people you know? Super wealthy, not just like millions, but like above that, multi-millions, billion, who are that open to the whole world? None. They're not worried about having a flashy car, looking nice and showing you they have money. No, they just have money and they kids got money and them got money. Everyone got money. It's like, wait a minute. We did something wrong. We're doing something wrong because we're looking like we have it, but we actually don't have it. Ooh. So I got to a place where I don't want to look like I have it. I don't care if you think I do or don't have it. I know that I don't get up every day to go to a job that I don't like. So what's your flex? I don't get up to go to work. What do you do? And I'm not worried about my bills being paid or any. I don't. Why y'all laughing? I'm serious. But people get mad when you say stuff like that, right? Yeah. So you look like you have it, but you're working hard. But the life I realize you don't need a lot of stuff. I'm happy. I wake up every day like, what do I want to do today? I'm not trying to do anything. If I just want to post on Instagram all day, I'll do that. If I just want to lay in bed, I'm going to do that. If I want to get up and go on a trip for the last month that I've been doing, I will do that. Because I did things I didn't even know I was doing. I didn't know I was getting to my place of financial freedom. I was just doing what I knew I was supposed to do in life to be successful for myself, right? Instead of waiting on someone else, like my parents or a spouse, I had to do it for myself. I just didn't know it was going to get me here. But now that I'm here, I can now surround myself with new people who are already here, who surpassed me, who can tell me, girl, this is what you do next. And if I understand basic numbers, you can give me a play and I can be like, okay, it sounds good, but does that make sense number-wise? Because now you have to look different type of investment. Short, long-term, is this a high risk, low risk? Like, what are we looking at? What are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to accomplish a short flip right here? Or are we trying to accomplish generational wealth? Because that's what I want to do. So
how are you going to do that, though, if you're not making over 6 figures? And that's what people saying, well, girl, I hear you. But you talking about generational wealth. You can't do that making $40,000 a year.
There's no rush. So for me, I'm in a place right now where there's a few different things I'm looking at doing, but I also have to look at what's going to make the most sense in the long term, right? So yes, I do need my short terms to get me to where I need to go from goal to goal, but I also need to look at the bigger picture because there's no sense in doing this, and it goes in a million different directions. It's like when I bought my house, right? So I bought my house, and I could have bought 2-story house, 4 or 5 bedrooms, whatever, right? Bought a house for $300,000.
Break it down.
I literally bought it 4 minutes from the airport, which is 5-10 minutes from the Strip. Literally, the stadium, everything is right there.
You're in Las Vegas.
The outlets.
She's talking about the Strip. She ain't talking about the Strip club.
Las Vegas.
About the Strip from Las Vegas. All right.
So I'm literally off the boulevard. Literally, you can leave my house, make it right, you're gonna hit the boulevard a couple miles.
Okay.
So you're already south of the boulevard. The airport's right there. The Strip's right there. I'm in a good school district because I'm on the borderline of Vegas and Henderson.
Yeah.
So if I did a short term, that could rent out Airbnb just fine. If I did a long term, there's good schools in the area, so that's fine. There's a liquor store across the street, a gas station right across, you can walk to, literally, because I'm on the corner, 2 blocks in. No HOA. There's a Walmart down the street. There's an Albertsons. Like, everything you need is literally within a mile or 2. Sam's Club. So I'm thinking about all this. Short, long term, if I move here, stay here, how can I make money off this with the least amount of stress?
So it's a strategy for you. It's the strategy in the numbers.
Oh, of course.
Or you make a decision, you look at what's the numbers, and then if the numbers make sense, you're like, all right, cool, what's the strategy?
Exactly.
I'm going to put it in place to where if you decide to not sell, let's say if you get married one day and y'all decide to move, all right, cool. All right, babe, we're going to put this on short term or we're going to do it on long term because of X, Y, Z. I thought about that down the road, right? And that's one reason why I bought, a house in Fort Washington because last year it was the wealthiest Black community in
I love it.
The United States of America, but I didn't do the research like you. While I'm in the wealthiest Black community, I'm in the worst school district. It's the lowest one.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang.
So that affects things.
That affects the things, but Black families are still moving here.
Which is good.
It will be great. But I should have found something that's good for the Black families and their kids. And you're like, yo, wait.
I thought about all that.
Oh.
Because I'm just thinking, people always say Airbnb, that's great for right now, but what happens if the terms change? They're like, you can't rent out the people's houses, or you can only have so many houses. Like, well,
and the terms are changing. Like Airbnb are making a lot of changes right now. Atlanta just got hit. Nashville, when I was there, got hit. I had literally bought a townhome. A 3-story rooftop balcony townhome. Beautiful. I'm telling you, you get to the top of that thing, boy, you see the lights. I was like, boy, I'm going to make love to my wife up here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm ready. And I was like, when I rent it out, boy, I know some things going to be going.
I know it's a good investment.
I know it's a good investment. As soon as I bought it, the very next week, they changed the code. And I was like, so then my whole strategy changed. And I was like, wait, what? And so I was like, and the strategy changed to where, because it was an attached duplex, you got to own both of them.
Oh.
So you got to live in one, and then, you can short-term the other one out. And I was like, wait, what? If I would have known that, I wouldn't have bought that townhome because it was in a gentrified area. So literally, my home is right here, 5 feet across the street, dope boy house.
Oh, yeah, so that's
right next door to them is grandmama who's been there for 60 years, and the house looks like it's about to fall in. Right around the corner is prostitution homes. But then right on this other street, all brand new homes that white people were buying. So I was like, yo, and my realtor, man, I love him, man, Brian, he was like, Anthony, this is a great investment. And it literally was. I literally bought that home, I want to say January. Transitioned into full-time business. I sold it in October, made $125,000 in literally 8 months.
See?
So it was a great investment, right? But I was just like, dang, I wish I still had it because, and I wish the coding was there. But it's like when I hear you, and I want to thank you, man, for just keeping it in the butt, because I think a lot of people complain that, you cannot build wealth.
Oh, you can.
Having less. When, my friends over at Ramsey Solutions, they did a study a few years ago. I was on the team at that time, and and I can say we, because I was a part of the team at that time, we found out that, man, a lot of your millionaires are making $50,000, $60,000, a year. But what are they doing? They're being smart with the math, with the numbers, and then put down a strategy. Okay, I'm going to invest. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to live like this. And boom, when they retire, they making $1 million.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what in the world? Now, let's be real. You couldn't make $45,000 living in New York.
Oh,
You couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think the problem that I get with this is the problem that I have in our space, right? It's the problem I have, right? Well, man, I can't live in New York. You're right. Don't go to New York.
So why exactly? Don't live there. It's easy.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like people living in California.
Okay, cool, great. Don't go to New York. Like you moved where a place where you can live and enjoy your life with your income.
That's the key, right
You know what I'm
there.
saying? And I'm like, well, I can't live in California. I can barely live. You're right. Don't go to California. I tell people this, I'm not moving back to California because it's not in my budget to live in California. Even at my level of income, I still don't want to live in California.
Financially, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Like, you're literally paying for a destination.
Yes.
It's like paying for a brand. That's it. It's the same concept, but I just don't make enough. People don't want to move outside their comfort zone.
No.
So when I was in the military, I lived in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Okay, I know right there.
I'm mad that you know where that is.
Because my dad was stationed in Fayetteville.
Oh, that's why you know. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
so
I
people
know
are
about
like,
Goldsboro.
where is
I used to
that?
sell cars at Deacon Jones and Goldsboro.
Stop playing, so I got my car.
Are you serious? I probably sold you your car. I probably sold you your car. You bought your car from Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones Nissan, Deacon Jones Honda, which one? Nissan? What year you buy your car? Stop playing.
2015.
No!
Yes, I'm so sorry.
I was working there in 2015.
Stop it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you know.
I already know. Man, I probably knocked your head off in that car too.
Nah, I did good. I got a 1.9 interest rate. Stop
No,
playing.
man, I'm saying you paid 18 for it?
Yep, a little bit less than 18.
What kind of car is it?
It's a Nissan Sentra.
Sentra?
Yeah.
Nah, girl, we only paid about 11.
Yeah. I got a good price for my car. It was brand new and everything.
We only paid $11,000 for the
Look, I can't control what y'all doing. I know I got for the best price. The way that sticker price was set up, it said 22, 23. I said 23 what?
As a marker.
I tried it. And then I already know. So I said, this is how much I'm going to pay you for. I got the check right here. So
it is crazy.
So it's super cheap there.
No, I'm telling you, Goldsboro, I get it. I mean, I literally sold for Deacon Jones Nissan in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
And how many people you know who want to live there?
I mean, nobody.
Exactly. But the flip side of it, the good side, right, of living there.
Cost of living.
Exactly. I was in a duplex, right, on the corner, was it Windsor Creek, the little neighborhood? I lived there for $750.
Shay, I didn't notice.
It's a small world. I'm telling you. See, so you know. So depending on where you live, because how much I was making, where I lived, I think that's why I was able to do some of the stuff that I was doing. Because if I was living in a bigger city, the military's not paying me more. They're paying more for cost of living.
Right.
If I was living off base. So that goes up, maybe $50, $60.
Yep.
Right? But then also depends on your rank.
Yeah.
So all these factors come into play, right? So if I was living in a bigger city, I wouldn't have been saving how I was. If I was in D.C. in the military,
No.
what house?
No.
What?
I was just telling my team, I said, man, I'm in the DMV area, and I think a part of me is thinking about transitioning myself and the company to Charlotte, North Carolina. But
That's a
I
good
would
city.
live in Columbia, South Carolina, which is only 45 minutes away
It's
from
super
Charlotte.
close.
And my parents just literally bought a home, and it goes back to the strategy. My dad went to South Carolina because he's a retired vet. He didn't have to pay state taxes.
Yep.
On his on the house, on the cars.
Yep.
So when me and him was sitting down doing the math, he's like, all right, do I retire and live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, or do I, retire and transition to Columbia? And when we did the math, my dad is saving almost $2,000 a month just by moving to Columbia. And I was like, well, dang. So when I started doing research around it, I could literally take my home in DMV, pick it up, place it in Columbia, South Carolina. It will be nearly 40% off for the same square footage and the style of this home. And I'm like,
Location.
wow. But then I'm close to Charlotte. I can get there every day if I want. Because if you live in Atlanta, if you live in D.C., if you live in New York, it's going to take you an hour just to get, you know what I'm saying, 20 miles down the street.
And that's unfavorable.
And that, definitely. So I'm like, well, so if I'm used to driving, you know what I'm saying, 30, 45 minutes, why not do the strategy play like you, live in Columbia, drive to Charlotte to work, come back home. Columbia is not a rural or a small city, but it's not a Charlotte, Atlanta, D.C. I can get the bang for my buck. We live. It's a good area to raise your family. I can get to Atlanta in 2.5, 3 hours. And so I think really, man, I just want to say thank you to, you're really the first person to come on here and just say, you know what? I ain't got no shame in the game.
For what? Look, what am I lie for? You go on my Instagram. Look, one thing about me, I'm so transparent. Like, I literally started my business 2 years ago. So it's not like I've been here 20 years, 12 years. Like, no, I literally just did this 2 years ago. I bought my house at 29. I'm 32.
So you're teaching people pretty much on your business is pretty much, all right, cool, let's go ahead and get your life straight.
Yes.
Because while I don't do debt and I don't really care for the credit score, you need to make sure that your credit is still good if you're going to purchase a home.
Oh, yeah.
So you're helping people really get to understand the basics of budgeting, making sure that their credit is clean so they can get into a home, and then also make sure they understand the basics of just numbers.
Yeah, exactly, right? Between their credit numbers, their budget numbers, because all that goes together. Yeah. Because people always say, oh, well, you can, I hate when I hear this, and I've said it many times, probably an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
You cannot start a business with bad personal credit. I just don't see, let's think about logically, right? Take your feelings all out of it. How can you say I'm going to start a profitable business when I can't even understand my personal finances? And that's a lot more basic than a business.
Come on.
Because that rolls into people going to school for degrees, understanding accounting, expenses. Like there's all these different things you need. And paying taxes, even your credit and how you pay it and how you work it strategy-wise is completely different. So there's no way you can not be good over here. Yeah. That's like saying I failed high school, but I'm going to go to college one day. If you barely made it through high school, how are you going to make it through college when that's a step up? Having a business is a step up.
Man, listen.
And it's okay. Like, we all have to start somewhere, but don't be out here acting like you know what you're doing. That's why people be having bad businesses or people, like, it just goes to shambles. Like, what happened to your business? Oh, well, you know, I just know. You probably didn't understand your finances.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to start a business and have poor personal credit. Now you're adding these business trade lines. You're paying out more money for the credit not to be yours. And you got to backtrack and then start building your own credit. And then, again, that's taken away from money.
Facts.
You making all this money.
Facts.
Right?
That's what.
But you're not netting anything.
Listen.
What are you netting? That's what I want to see. Forget what you're profiting and what are you netting every month? What are you netting a year versus the hours you're working?
I don't think people understand what you just said, right? It's, you know, with me being in business for myself, a lot of people see the income coming in. I even had to tell it to my team. I was like, yo, okay, you saw all that money come in, but do you understand taxes? You know, you know what I'm saying? That it's not, people have to understand. I don't ask people anymore. When I'm with business people, I ask them, what's your profit? Don't show me what you made. You know what I'm saying? What is your profit? And then 2, how are you on your personal level? You know? And one of the key things that I've always told people is, because I hear that all the time too, like, hey man, who cares if your personal stuff is horrible? Just get the business up and running and then stop putting stuff in the personal name and put everything in the business name. So that way, if you drop the ball on that, they'll come after the business and will come after you personally. I'm like, what kind of unhealthy, toxic stuff is that?
And people do it. So now they're doing this.
Exactly.
That's working harder. Yeah. See what I'm saying? And that's when you have to pay out more money in the long run because you don't know where your money's going. Man. And to me, that gives me anxiety. It's too much stress. Yeah. So I'm rushing for what? Who am I racing against?
Yeah.
Literally. Like when I really, who am I actually racing against? Myself. Man. Because myself and my goals do not look like anybody else's.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here trying to keep up with the Joneses, and I don't know what the Joneses got going on behind closed doors because I ain't that nosy, nor do I want to care.
Yeah.
And it's like other people care so much, but you don't even have all the facts.
Wow.
So you're trying to keep up, and now you're behind because you don't know what they're doing, whether it's legal, whether it's not, whether it's something you're willing to sacrifice yourself for to do, right? It's kind of like, no offense to the women who do OnlyFans, but I wouldn't do anything like that. Why is that? Yeah, you probably make really good money, and it's here right now, and it's great, but longevity. You can't do that forever. So if you don't know how to flip that money to make it still make yourself more money, you did that for what? And now you put yourself back. Not even a financial space. Mentally, probably emotionally, like your values. Who knows what you were doing? Or who knows if you're really okay with it. But if you put yourself in a certain box, you kind of just made yourself stuck in that box for a little bit. Right? Because imagine you did that and now, oh, well, I want to be this person and I'm doing this and that. Some people might not want to work with you because of what you did previously, even though it had nothing to do with them. Right? Because people still have feelings. And still like, I ain't trying to be associated with somebody who's been on OnlyFans and I see her things everywhere. Not to say they're a bad person, not to say whether it's right or wrong, but it's like that decision right there to make that type of money affected the decision in the future to make different type of money. So you got to think about these things. You got to think about yourself.
You're speaking good. I had a young lady reach out to me. She doesn't do OnlyFans anymore. She reached out and it was in confidence. I won't say her name, but I did ask her if I could share like her story eventually. She's like, yeah, just don't say my name, And she was like, hey, listen, this is not who I want to be. She was like, but I have made a lot of money here. And she was like, and I follow you on Instagram and I love your show. And she was like, I need to get out. What do I do with the money that I have to make sure that when I get out, I'm not even tempted to get back in because it's quick money over here.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So she was like, what can I do to use this money better? And it was so funny is like there's this, I can't say the name of the company, but there's this chicken wing spot in Florida. Put it like that. I won't even say the city, Florida. Well, the chicken wing spot was started by this dope boy. And he was like, yo, I need to do something legal because I want to get out of the game. So he got with a financial advisor and he started saying, hey, listen, I want to start doing stuff right. And I think that the key of what you're saying is like, man, sit down, come up with the strategy.
What works for you?
What works for you. And I like how you said you are your own competitor. And I have to remind myself that, because in this space, I'll see other YouTubers, podcasters, speakers, authors doing great things. And then I'll be, yo, I can do that. Or we can do that. We need to be doing this. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to do all that. Like, yo, I'm hiring black people. You know what I'm saying? I am debt free. I'm like you. If I want to wake up one day and cancel all my meetings, I'm going to cancel all my meetings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to wake up one day and go spend some time with my dad and just golf, I'm going to go spend some time and go golf. Because it's like, now it's like what you said, I believe in a philosophy. Me and CJ, we're the older people on this team, right? We're used to working hard. Alex he's a young guy. He believes in working smart. He's a little lazy, but he's smart with his laziness, And I'm like, I believe there has to be a balance between the two.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? CJ worked 14 hours. Alex will work 5 hours and talking about he worked hard. And I'm like, but you ain't work hard. You know what I'm saying? Now, CJ worked hard, but I think we shouldn't be working 14 hours. But we need to be, working more than 5. Let's meet in the middle. Work 8, but work smart. But then let's not work every day. And that's, like, for me, that's my goal. It's like, what am I doing now to set up the life that I want tomorrow? What am I doing now to where I have freedom to do what I want to do and what I want to do? What I do now, I can do this 10 hours a day because this is not bondage. I enjoy talking to people like you. I enjoy coming in here with my team and we're creating life transformational content. This is something I do not need a vacation from. It's because I enjoy it. And that's why I really hope, because y'all, we got to end the show, but I really hope that y'all learned something today from this queen here, man. We're going to drop all her information in today's show notes. Look up her business because she's going into this full time now. And so I want y'all to look her up and just use her services so she can help you get to the freedom spot that you really want to get to. Because getting out of debt it doesn't mean that you're wealthy. Getting out of debt, it's just the first step to your journey of establishing wealth. And I think the very what I look at for me and the reason why I want Financial freedom has nothing to do with becoming a millionaire. It has nothing to do with driving a nice cars. It's, man, I just want freedom. And I want freedom to do what I want to do with whomever I want to do. And I love it. Like, I want to see my team making 6+ figures. I want to see my team becoming millionaires. I want to be able to, you know, before my kids graduate high school, they're already millionaires. You know, they're graduating high school, going into college, and they're saying, hey, well, do I need to go to college, or should I start a business, or like whatever. They don't have to feel the stress of, I got to do something. It could be like, no, what do you want to do?
And that's the goal.
And that's what it's all about. We got to work. We got to contribute to society in some form or fashion, because spiritually, as a Christian man, we were all fearfully and wonderfully made for a reason. And so then I think if you can identify that reason, operate within your assignment, you're going to be all right. Yo, so listen, we're going to drop all of Shay information in today's show notes. Please go check her out, support her, rock with her, tell her you love the show, go follow her, and I promise you'll be a blessing, because I just love what she's doing, especially on the budgeting side, and just teaching people, hey, here's the basics of budgeting. And she knows how to pay off her debt. You know what I'm saying? So go look her up, y'all. Yo, we love you. God bless you. We'll see you in the next show. Peace out.